Hello, hello. Welcome to the Mystic Path. This will be the new moon partial solar eclipse in Scorpio for October 25th. As always, take the messages that resonate, leave the rest. This is a collective reading. There will be messages for other people. Not everything will be for you. Keep that in mind. Please like, share, and subscribe. Comment below. I always like to know if anything I'm saying is resonating. Again, also, if these messages find you not on a new moon partial solar eclipse, that is okay. The messages find you when you most need them. So I pulled out the new moon eclipse and the new moon in Scorpio cards. I already set the tone, channeled some notes, got some decks out. So the decks, we're probably going to try to pull some crystals, the Moonology. We may or may not pull from the Starseed Oracle. We will definitely be using The Nightmare Before Christmas. Beyond Lemuria. And Archangel Metatron. Okay, also just bear with me. I've been moving the camera around to try out best positioning. So be patient with me. Also, last month I was talking about what I'm always drinking, and this is not a sponsorship in any way. This is just, I like it, and I'm drinking it today, so I thought I'd show you. The company's called Three Spirits. This is called Sharp. It looks like wine, but it's not. It's mineral drink, okay? Non-alcoholic, rare botanicals, fruits, and ferments, adaptogenetic, low sugar, plant-based, gluten-free, sulfite-free, caffeine-free. It's amazing. No hangover. Makes you feel like you're having a little bit of a cocktail, wine if you want. Gives you energy, has antioxidants. Like, it's really actually good for you. So I've talked about it on here a few times. There is also a pink bottle called, this is called Sharp. Oh, and the pink bottle is called Spark. Yeah, Spark and Sharp. I'm drinking the green bottle today. It's kind of what I like. The pink bottle is good too, but it's more like champagne-ish. So I feel like it's more for like when you're having a celebration. That's just me. Anywho, okay, let's get to it. New moon, partial eclipse, partial solar eclipse in Scorpio, October 25th. This eclipse will be visible in Europe, North Africa, Middle East, parts of Asia. We won't see it here in the States. Let's not forget, eclipses intensify things, okay? Eclipses bring in wild changes and emotional curveballs. Some hidden things or secrets may come to light during solar eclipses. And I've said this before on this channel, but I want to say it every time. Eclipses are very intense energy. It's a time when the universe is in the driver's seat, okay? That's how intense the energy is. The best thing we can do is go with the flow, because if we start trying to control things, if we start trying to manifest, trying to set intentions, okay, it's not a good time to do that because the energy is already super intense. There's already going to be sudden, swift, quick change happening in your life. There's going to be big shifts, both individually level and on a collective level. So it's already going to be intense. There is no reason to intensify it and to invite in extra doses of that energy by trying to control things, by setting intentions, by manifesting, by making, not a good time to make moon water, not a good time to charge your crystals or make candles, because you do not want to, basically the universe is driving. This energy is already very intense, and collectively and individually, right, we're going to be experiencing shifts, changes in our energy, changes in our thought processes, changes in our beliefs, changes in our life, right? Quick and fast decisions that need to be made, situations that demand all of our time and energy, right? So don't ask for more of it. Right? You don't want to work with crystals and charge them up with energy that's like double dosing your lessons. So I've said that before. I probably am going to say it every time there's an eclipse, just so everyone knows. Because, if you don't know a lot about energy and you haven't been working with it for a long time, you would think logically like, ooh, this is intense energy. It'd be a great time to do all these things. No. Not a great time for moon rituals. Not a great time for candles or moon water or charging your crystals or setting intentions or, all of the above. You get it, right? It's not a good time to control. It's a good time to go with the flow, take what comes, and adjust as you can, because that'll make things a lot less chaotic and stressful and emotional. Okay? So, now, eclipses intensify things, brings in sudden changes, emotional curveballs, okay? I was just kind of saying that. Hidden things, secrets may come up to light. We may also see that things end, like something ends abruptly and then something else starts, like maybe a job or a, I don't know. That's just what's coming to my head right now, a job. So maybe that's a message for somebody, and that's why I drew a complete blank after that. So also this is happening in Scorpio, right? Scorpio's vibe is very sensual, mysterious, which would make sense that the solar eclipse is going to force a bunch of secrets out, right? I mean, you can't make this stuff up, the energy. It's like it's all works together, right? It's all connected. So let's see what else. Sensual. Scorpio's a water sign, obviously. Scorpio has some vulnerability, some hidden emotions and desires, right? Very mysterious, I was saying. So they keep their feelings very close to the vest. Well, the eclipse is kind of the opposite of that. So the eclipse is going to heighten all of those feelings for us. It's going to heighten our feelings of vulnerability. It's going to heighten any emotions we've been just trying to shove down and not really deal with. Let's see, what other notes did I make here? Emotionally sensitive, I said. Scorpio is a sign kind of known for causing transformations and rebirths, new beginnings, right? Which makes sense that this eclipse would be happening as well. Any pent up emotions that we have not expressed, this solar eclipse in Scorpio is going to highlight them. And you're going to feel like you need to get those emotions out. Okay? But because this is a solar eclipse and things could be intense, I recommend that you dial that back a little bit, right? You may feel the urge to do it, yearn to do it, but sometimes it's better to slow down and think things thoroughly through, okay? Because sometimes the energy is so intense that we do or say something and then later we're like, I could have handled that in a different way, right? So just, kind of like be a little bit of an observer to your own thoughts and feelings before you speak around this time. So solar eclipses, I was talking about, very intense, right? So this is kind of what happens with the solar eclipse. Either you are going to feel wildly off center and you're going to feel like, oh my God, I'm completely overwhelmed. I feel completely out of control. Like, what is happening? Or the opposite. You're going to have crystal clear clarity in your thinking. Maybe not so much in your emotions, but in your thinking. Okay? So that's why it's always better to take a little bit of a pause before we speak our emotions immediately and just think. Because if we have that crystal clear clarity in our thought processes, it may help us speak better instead of just reacting off the cuff from the emotional place. Okay, so what else? Okay, so solar eclipses kind of make us yearn for more almost. Like, I want to grow. I want change. I want forward motion, right? I want more. And when I say I want more, I'm not talking about like material things. I'm talking about like fulfillment, right? You want to feel seen more. You're going to want to live your truth more and speak your truth more and be more authentic with the people around you, okay? That's what I'm talking about. The yearning will be. But it's important to remember that this energy coming in around this new moon solar eclipse is going to throw us some curveballs, okay? I said this earlier. During a solar eclipse, the universe is driving. This is a time where the energy is so intense. Good visual. So they just and they've shown me this before. Anybody who's seen Finding Nemo knows that there's the scene with the turtles where there's like the one current that goes around the world. I forget what it's called, like the Pacific something current or whatever. And it goes around the world and it's very quick. And the turtles like can either get in that current and it just drags them quickly to the other side of the world, or they can get out of the current and just leisurely swim, right? So what they're showing me is during this time, during solar eclipses, is a time where the universe has put that quick flow of water, and this is in Scorpio, okay? So water sign. I mean, way to bring it all together. So this is a time that the universe puts such intense energy on the planet that it's like being in that current. And you don't have a lot of control, right? And you can imagine that if you were trying to go against that current, it would be chaotic, right? It would be very much of a struggle. It would exhaust you. You'd probably get water in your lungs, So that's what they're saying. That's why we don't want to be setting intentions, charging our crystals, all of that, because that is a form of trying to like resist that flow. Okay? And again, like I said, it's already going to be intense, so don't open the door for more intensity. Don't send the message that like, oh, I would like a double, triple dose of this energy, please. Because, you know, these energies are hard enough to navigate sometimes, and especially, you know, when we're going through things that are outside of our control in life. So, again, sometimes it's all we can do to keep our head from drowning, right? We don't want to invite another bucket of water. I guess that's another good way to say it. Okay, so let's see. We talked about that already. You know, again, solar eclipses, I don't want to make it seem like they're all horrible. It's not. It's just intense, right? Solar eclipses are powerful catalysts in both the collective layer of things and the individual layer of things. Powerful energy for change, for taking big steps forward, for, you know, movement out of stagnation. I have a perfect example of this, and this is happening a little early because the eclipse is still maybe about a week away. But my dad has always been very, very, very slow to technology, to take to technology, right? And he's like a working with your hands kind of guy. Building, he was a machinist. He would build and create and drill and, right? But it was all like with his hands. And so technology, he's always been slow to embrace it. Well, just in the last 3 days, he has like decided they're getting rid of cable. They come and visit me a lot, and I don't have cable. I have streaming everywhere. And so they've gotten used to it, and they like it. And their cable company's starting to like want to switch everyone over anyway to like Fire Sticks or something like that. And so in the last 3 days, my dad like got a Roku. They set it up. He was watching football. Like, you know, that for him is a huge step forward. Okay, so it could even be something as little as this, right? That's not very traumatic, but for him, it's traumatic. Like my mom said, he's still saying to her, I just don't like that you can't flip channels with a remote, right? But that's just because he has to adjust. So he is resisting a little bit, but he's taking a huge step forward. So you might see those kinds of things on that little scale. Then we might also be seeing big things. You know what I mean? You might see your life turn completely upside down. You might decide you want to leave your relationship or start a whole new relationship. That's why, again, it's good to slow down and try to think things through. Okay? This energy is probably going to like set a lot of us on a completely new path. And this is a really good time to focus on your passions, and investigate your relationships, romantic and otherwise. Are your needs being met? Okay, this is also good energy for shifting our relationship to money. And that could be a message for somebody on both a collective and individual level. I wrote that down like as I was finishing up the channeling because I wanted to get to the fun part of the cards. At the very end, they were brought in that relationship with money. So that could be for somebody. This is a good time. The energy is very supportive of you trying to like, you know, shift your dynamic with money. Some people feel very controlled by money. Some people are obsessed with it. Some people are desperate for it, right? Some people don't think it's a big deal. And so then they have more of it because they attract it because they're not chasing it, right? So those are all just things to think about. Let's see. Slow down, think about. Okay, so I'm going to wrap up what I had kind of channeled, and then we'll get to cards. Basically, then I wrote, like, this end of October, the solar eclipse. October's going out kind of like with a bang. It's asking all of us to make big changes. And again, this can feel scary. This can feel fast, sudden, intense. It can feel overwhelming, out of our control. But we need to try, in those moments, we need to try to lean in to the fact that these kinds of big things happen in life because the universe is like redirecting us to a new path, to a new way of doing things, to a new way of thinking, right? It's kind of like a detour. You may not want to take the detour, but you can't keep going because the road is closed. So you're being forced to take the detour, okay? Many of us are going to feel forced to take a detour in our life. But sometimes you got to read the signs, right? You got to read the signs of what's happening in your life. This is a true story. I had a friend many, many years ago in my 20s. I mean, we're still friends, I'm sure, but she just moved away, so we, we don't see each other as often, we don't talk as often, etc. She was bound and determined. She was in this relationship, and it was very unhealthy. And she was bound and determined to marry this man. And they kept going to these islands to elope. And this is no joke. This happened like 3 times in a row. They would go to elope, and then the island would get like evacuated for a hurricane. And her friends, we were all saying, we love you. We know that you want to do this, but it's like the universe is trying to send you a message because the relationship was very toxic and unhealthy and abusive on both of their parts. Okay. So, we all kept saying to her, and she kept insisting, and finally on like, I think the 4th try, they got married. And now we are 20 years later, and after about 15 years, they got divorced because things never changed, and it was just a toxic cycle that went on over and over and over again, right? So sometimes you have to look at what's happening in your life and read the signs the universe is giving you. Sometimes the signs are telling you, you need to desperately make a change here. You need to do something different. You need to ask somebody for help, right? You need to take responsibility for whatever it is that you don't want to face or you don't want to deal with, but that is bringing you down or keeping you from your fulfillment or, right, keeping you from having your needs met, right? So I'm kind of done with my notes, so we're going to start with cards. I just wanted to point out again, we need to remember that when stuff like this is happening, when these forced detours, redirections are happening, and we're in that current, and there's really not much we can do to get out of that current, so it's just better for us to kind of let the universe drive for a week or two. Go with the flow. These things do happen for our best growth. I know it's hard to see it at the time. Trust me, I know, because I have been there. Just like everyone, I have also had some pretty low lows and harsh readjustments in my life at various times. So I get it. It's not always easy, but we have to try to start facing these things, handling them with grace. Again, forgiving ourselves, understanding we're all just humans. We're all just here learning and growing, and that is rough sometimes. Okay? So, we've already kind of talked about this, but for everyone watching, let's get a little bit more specific about the energy. For everyone watching, what will be the energy around this new moon in Scorpio partial solar eclipse? Okay. Anything else? Yes. Okay, also, bottom of the deck, alignment. That's the underlying issue, so that's always good to see, right? Let's just keep that. Okay, yeah. Air, which is interesting because we're in a water sign. So I think this is here to remind us to breathe. Paradigm shift, right? Okay, we were already talking about there's going to be some big changes, etc. Well, here we go. Paradigm shift. Okay, that's just confirmation for us. And then this endless opportunities is the card that they want me to take. So again, confirmation and reminder when things get tough during this energy, we need to take a pause, breathe, remind ourselves that the whatever it is, the fill in the blank, the stress, the whatever it is an opportunity. Whatever is happening to us in our life, whatever comes with this energy, we need to stop, take some deep breaths, because these are endless opportunities to grow. Okay? And the underlying issue is being in alignment. So whatever is going to be happening during this solar eclipse energy is happening to bring us into alignment. I mean, really, you cannot. And let's also just notice that all of these cards have the same colors, okay? Purples, blues. Also, interestingly enough, in the October energy update, we talked about crystals that would be very helpful during this time. Blue lace agate, which I have right here, and amethyst were two of the crystals, which, guess what? Blue and purple. Okay? Do you see the flow here? All right. Also, interestingly enough, I just noticed the Nightmare Before Christmas tarot, the back is all purple. So also fits right in there. So I guess since I picked up this tarot, they want me to. All right, let us see more specifically what is happening around the solar eclipse energy, new moon, for those watching. What lesson will be coming forward the strongest for those watching? Oh. 7 of Wands. Anything else? Okay. So give me just a second there because I know I'm supposed to take it because it flew out. 2 of them flew out upwards facing me. Okay. We have the Three of Pentacles, 3 of Presents in reverse. Also 8 of Cups in reverse with the Seven of Candles, which is 7 of Wands. So we have Pentacles, Wands, Cups, okay. 3 of Pentacles is about asking for help. So during this energy, it seems like those of you watching are kind of like resisting help, it seems. Oh, okay. Okie dokie. I'm going to clarify. Yeah, we're going to clarify with the Delos Tarot. Okay. Because oh, well, that was fast. Ace of Pentacles in reverse. Yeah, okay. So so the timeline I'm getting here, for those of you watching, is around this eclipse. It's going to be very important to remember to breathe and remember that as hard as whatever it is, you have to get through it, because on the other side of it, right, is alignment here. This Scorpio card says, work through your fears. The Eclipse card, expect powerful change. So, in order to be in alignment, you're going to have to work through our fears. It seems like the issue we're going to be dealing with here is being afraid of asking for help. Because the 3 of Pentacles is usually about like asking for help, going to community, maybe like I keep hearing like mentorship, if this is a work situation, like mentorship at work maybe. And then we have the Ace of Pentacles, which again would be like about a new beginning, but this is also in reverse. So what's keeping us from a new beginning is not asking for help, being afraid to ask for help, to lean on community. You guys, we can't always do it alone. I mean, listen, that's why these videos exist, right? Because most of us who can feel energy feel very alone at times, because the world is not set up for you to feel energy and to be comfortable and to have, like intuition and all of that. We have all of those things naturally. All of us do. But the world is not set up to accommodate those things. So sometimes we feel disconnected, right? So these videos exist so that at those times we all feel disconnected, we can connect with somebody who is like us and who is feeling the same thing, and who can be like, oh, I totally understand what you're going through, even in a way, because I understand the energy that's surrounding you, that you're dealing with, right? So even if you aren't like going to support groups or therapy, if you're watching these videos, if you're getting readings, if you're you're connecting to a community, right? And so it seems like the fear here is like opening up, being vulnerable. Earlier we talked about one of the things I channeled was this energy was going to make us very vulnerable and it was going to be very intense, right? So what I'm getting here is our biggest, for those watching, the biggest fear is asking for help, being vulnerable, sharing the story. It's like taking the first step, I just heard. Okay, clarify the 7 of Wands, please. Clarify the 7 of candles. What does this mean? Let's clarify, please. 7 Wands. Okay, maybe not. Okay. Oh. Yeah. Okay, man. So, interesting. I asked to clarify the 7 of Wands. I got the 5 of Wands and the 8 of Wands reversed. The 8 of Wands is very fast moving energy. Like taking action, moving forward, making changes, embracing the flow, right? Embracing that the universe is in the driver's seat. That is not happening here. Okay? If this was right side up, it would mean embracing the universe being in the driver's seat. It is not right side up. It is in reverse. And the 5 of Wands, this is always like, reminds me of like conflict. Okay? Because, the like, that graphic in the background is like the old school comic books with like the bang, pow, right? So, and other decks, the 5 of Wands, just the visual I get is about like being like, so this is what I'm getting is, okay, I got it now. Thank you. So what's happening here is the biggest fear is asking for help, being vulnerable, taking that first step, starting to talk about like your shit out loud because it seems like you've been holding it in for a long time, right? But what growth in this energy would be moving forward, in getting some kind of help, being vulnerable, asking for help, going to therapy, watching these videos and actually doing and using the advice, right? Because we've talked about this before on this channel. It's not always enough to just watch the video, okay? You actually have to do the things. You actually have to work on clearing your energy every day, charging your crystals, setting intentions, right? That's part of the work that journaling, going to therapy. This is all going to a support group, whatever it is for you. I'm sorry. It's like, it just keeps coming. So that's what the energy is going to be supporting for this alignment, right? It's providing us the energy to move forward, be vulnerable. But there's a block here on forward movement. There's some kind of block. That's what I'm getting from the 5 of Wands. There's a block. The energy is stagnant in the realm of asking for help. And if it stays like that, the outcome of our opportunities to grow are going to be the 8 of Cups in reverse. What? No. Can you clarify the 8 of Cups? I mean, it's a cemetery in reverse. So, And it's not as colorful as all the rest of these cards. It's got that dreary grayness to it. So, clarify the Eight of Cups, please. Eight of Cups. Eight of Cups. Ooh. Yeah, not good. Okay, okay. Listen, not that it's bad, right? Nothing is bad because everything that happens to us helps us grow, makes us strong. What is that saying? That which does not kill us makes us stronger. That is all the truth. But I also understand that that is patronizing and condescending when you're in the midst of your life being in total upheaval, right? It's not what you want to hear. So, okay, we're going to get some advice cards because this is what I'm getting, is that like for those watching, take the messages that resonate, leave the rest, okay? I apologize if some of this is triggering because it does feel triggering. But earlier, we were talking about how Scorpio's mysterious, the sign of Scorpio is mysterious. It's about secrets, because the solar eclipse will be bringing secrets coming to light. Hidden emotions will no longer be able to be repressed, okay? So all of that is happening, right? So that we can grow, to get into alignment. We can work through our fears, transform, get into alignment. The big fear coming up here is asking for help, being part of a community, being vulnerable, sharing whatever your story is, getting therapy, signing up for a support group, whatever it is for you, okay? That's the fear. But the energy is supporting you going to do that. Because what I'm hearing is not doing that just gets you more of the same, okay? The Hierophant, it gets you in reverse. So it gets you more secrets, more repression, more emotion. There's one thing I want to check. More unfulfilled emotion. Death is usually about changing, transforming, starting anew. This is in reverse. So if we don't start facing this fear, asking for help, taking the first step, whatever it is for you, getting serious about meditating maybe, right? In the beginning, they said it's going to be very important during all of this time to breathe, okay? So maybe that's messages for somebody. If you've been thinking about getting more serious about meditating, or thinking about starting yoga, or thinking about going to therapy, whatever it is, joining a support group, this is your message and confirmation that you need to go do that. You need to take some deep breaths, find the strength, and go ask for help. Because if you don't go ask for help, you're going to stay stuck in this emotionless cycle. These opportunities for alignment are going to go, and you're just going to be still unfulfilled. I'm hearing in despair, stuck in your fears. When it does not have to be that way. Okay, let me just check this one thing I want to look up. Yeah, okay. So basically where we're at over here, what I'm trying to say, you've reached, for those of you watching, this is a tipping point. Okay, this is a tipping point. Look how close this alignment is. It's all just right here. Okay, this is a tipping point. You have a decision to make. Are you going to continue the way things have been? Are you going to stay in your shell? Are you going to stay like trapped inside, not knowing feeling lost, not knowing which direction to go, not knowing where to begin, not knowing how to start the work? Or are you going to ask for help? Are you going to take that first step? Are you going to start breathing deeply and then get practiced at it so that then you can add the next step of like meditation and visualization? Are you going to start doing those things? Because this is where this energy's at. This is a tipping point. Okay? Tipping point. I don't know why they have me keep saying that over and over again. It's actually kind of amusing me. So, okay, first we're going to see what crystals will be helpful for us during the solar eclipse. You can also, the crystals I already mentioned, selenite, tiger's eye, obsidian, blue lace agate, amethyst. Those are like October's crystals. So, but the solar eclipse is going to be quite a bit more intense. So you may want to soothe yourself with some wearing of some crystals, etc. Again, reminder, do not be charging or cleansing your crystals during a solar eclipse. If you have done that, do not panic. Just get some selenite, okay? And clean the crystal. Sage the crystals. Ask the universe to clear, cancel, delete, right? You can do that. You can say, my apologies, I am humbled. I did not know enough and was acting without the proper knowledge. Please help me, balance out the crystals and clear out any eclipse energy. Okay, I don't know why I felt compelled to say that, but because somebody watching, I think, thought this would be a good idea time to charge crystals. Listen, we've all made silly mistakes like that just because we didn't know any better, right? Trust me. One time in the very beginning when my gifts first started opening up when I was like young, early 20s, I found this crystal in a shop that I really liked. I felt drawn to it, but I also I did not feel compelled to buy it. I felt like drawn to it, but almost like it wasn't meant for me. I was respecting its beauty, but it was not meant for me, right? But I bought it anyway. And then it was like amplifying the gifts that I hadn't figured out how to use yet. So it made my life a little more complex. And I did not know that until later on when I started learning more about crystals. And then I was like, oh, no wonder I had such a hard time. So we've all done stuff like that. When you know better, you do better, right? It's like Oprah says. Then as we learn and grow. So anyway, if anybody did make a mistake, it's not a big deal. That's why I felt compelled to say that. You can just call your guides in and ask them to help you balance out maybe your, don't call it a mistake, but like misinformation, misknowledge, whatever, right? What crystals are going to be good for solar eclipse? What crystals good for solar eclipse? Anything? Okay. And then I'm also feeling I need to pull from this crystal deck. I have 2 crystal decks. One of these days when I finish my first round of decks that I'm working on right now, I'm also going to make my own crystal deck. And it will have a lot of crystals. Because it's one of the things I love. And the crystal decks are always like little tiny ones, right? And there's so many more crystals out there in the world sometimes. Okay. Oh, right away. Anything else for the solar eclipse? Anything else? Holy moly, it's this one. Okay. Solar eclipse energy is intense. Intense. I mean, honestly. Okay. I think that's all. Okay. So what came out is, whatever this is. Oh, salt. Fundamentals of humanness, salt. What I heard immediately when I saw this was like, I have a salt lamp right here. That would be helpful. Getting a Himalayan salt massage also would be helpful. Then we also have lessons in blood. Okay, so that also means whatever lessons are coming up during this solar eclipse probably have to do with ancestral familial stuff going either from this life or in the past. Garnet, almandine garnet would be helpful. Salt, we just talked about. And then, what is this one? Pyrite. Woo! Here's a piece of pyrite right here. Okay. See that's all like pyrite. Yeah. Super cool. I love this crystal. Multi-terminal. So, the salt lamp, those come in various colors, right? There are pink ones, white ones. This is kind of like a burnt orange, but it's called still pink, I think. Okay, so those are the crystals that will be helpful through the solar eclipse. Pyrite, almandine garnet, salt. I keep hearing like salt massage. So somebody do that. I think I'm gonna actually do that. Cause it sounds good to me. If my massage therapist is watching, I know she does watch sometimes. Shout out to you. We're gonna get a salt massage the next time I'm in. Okay, these are the advice cards here. Okay, so also lately, I've noticed my guides have been giving me colors. I know why. There's a couple of reasons. But I'm also working on a project right now in my work life. Many of you know I'm a graphic designer. And I'm working on a project in my work life that has to do with like color and the meanings behind color and color therapy and things like that, okay? So what I've been noticing is lately when I've been channeling and meditating and stuff, I've been getting like a color that is also going to be helpful during the time. And so we just got it again, orange. Okay, Metatron says orange. Confidence and attunement, our sacral chakra, right? So we're probably going to have some sacral chakra stuff come up, right? I talked earlier about Scorpio being passionate, sensual. That's all sacral chakra, okay? So just like the crystals, the color will also help you. So like you could wear orange or use listen, one of my favorite things that when I'm working is to use colored pens and Sharpies. So use an orange pen, wear an orange shirt, get a bracelet that has orange stones in it. Wear orange underwear, whatever it is, because that color, that vibration of that color will help raise your vibration if you're wearing it on your body. Same with crystals. Also, I'm hearing when you're breathing, if you feel overwhelmed, this is an easy, simple way to start doing the work, okay? You stop for a second, you take a couple of deep breaths, and just like imagine that the color orange is surrounding you. You're in an orange bubble. Soothing. What does it feel like to you? To me, it feels warm, soothing. It feels safe to me because I've done a lot of sacral chakra work, right? And I work as a creative in my life on a daily basis. And so my creativity, my passions, that stuff is a safe place for me. So when I go into that sacral chakra thought process, that's what I feel, right? Warmth, safety, security. Even though security is the root chakra, I also feel it here because if my creativity is not full and my sacral chakra is not working properly, right, then my root chakra is going to be off because I won't be secure because it's where my living comes from, right? So again, these are just simple ways to start doing the work, okay? And again, you just practice at it a little bit at a time. You practice a little bit at a time until you get better and better and better at it. And then pretty soon, years will go by and you'll realize like, man, I haven't been angry and blah, blah, blah. Or I haven't had an emotional overwhelm feeling in this long, right? So little shifts lead to big change, okay? So the advice so far, the crystals, the color, and now we have two more. Okay, we have Archangel Sandalphon. My apologies if I'm saying it wrong, okay? So he's here supporting you, with you now, it says. So they're also saying if you feel overwhelmed, if you feel like you can't, like you need help, I see. You can also ask this angel for help, okay? And you can do that. If praying brings you comfort, meditating, whatever it is, even just like ringing a chime and calling him and saying, I could use your supportive energy right now. That's enough, okay? And then the next advice card is exactly what I've been saying already this whole entire reading. Go with the flow, okay? It says paddle on, go with the flow. All right, I'm going to leave it here because, I mean, the messages cannot be any clearer right now for this. So, yeah. Anyway, if you haven't already seen the October energy update, you could always go back and reference and watch that if you want. I do talk briefly in there about the end of October and the energies. So you may find different messages there resonate with you. As we know, the messages come out when they need to come out for whoever's watching at the time, etc., etc. So, wishing you a wonderful rest of your day, evening, week, weekend, whatever it is for you. I honestly am sending you love, strength, and support through these eclipse energies coming up. And let's just try to remember, breathe, and whatever is happening is to bring us into alignment. It's to bring us into the best version of who we are. Okay? Namaste.